Hello, everyone. I'm Jean-Claude Beyond Mystic, and welcome to this tarot reading by Janine. You can find her work at Sending Ravens here on YouTube and also at Tarot by Janine. Janine, welcome back to the show.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Jean-Claude.
How are you doing?
Good. Really good. Yep.
How was your weekend? I haven't spoken to you in a few days, and that's odd for you and I.
It was kind of crazy. I did a video. I thought it was a really good video, and it was looking at the Alex situation.
Oh, Mr.B, the other Mr.B.
Yeah, the other, yeah. And I had such a hard time. Like Guy, he tried to put it up on Tarot by Janine about 5 times, and he kept tweaking it, taking this word out and moving that. And so now there's a version of it up on Sending Ravens. They seem not to be.
Okay, so not on Tarot, but you got it up on this
Yeah,
one.
We finally put it up today, but it was like I was on the ball and I had it done on Sunday night. And it
this
only
one here? No.
Yeah, the latest. Yeah, that one.
Oh, but you got one. Oh, a situation with Alec B. Okay, gotcha. I see it in the title there. Okay.
Yeah. And then I was looking at the reveal, supposedly, of Juan O'Savin. Well, that was no reveal, by the way. The guy was wearing a bodysuit and partial face.
Okay. Hold on. Let me just bring the link down to the chat for the audience. A lot of people are going to say, what's she talking about? So just backtrack. Okay. So last week, this guy was making the rounds. They were going to do this big thing. Was it in Vegas this time again too?
Yep,
Let's set that up for the audience first, and then let us know what your updates were.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Juan O'Savin was going to do a big reveal in Vegas, and they were calling it something like the Patriot Showdown, or I don't know, some crazy thing. And it was they kept referencing the number 17 in the advertising. I thought that was interesting. Anyway, so he comes on, like revealing himself. By the way, he's about 6'1". So a lot of people kept telling us, no, he's too short to be JFK Jr. He's got to be 6'1". So when you see him at Vegas, you can see how tall he is. And he was, okay, my version of right away.
Wait, are you saying that he's actually taller than 6'1"?
No, he's 6'1", probably, or just that. But he's certainly not too short to be JFK Jr., just by the way.
Gotcha. Okay.
But so many people I'm more convinced, not less convinced, that he is. Okay. Yeah, because, he had what appeared to be a bodysuit. Certainly, he had this belly on that was so fake, it was worse than Meghan Markle's fake belly. Worse. Yeah. And it was like too jiggly and all in wrong places. Like there's a way that a belly jiggles when you got and actually beer bellies, like what it was looking like he was trying to look like he had, are a lot more strong, like hard. I've seen some beer bellies in my day, and that was not a proper beer belly. Okay. He looked like he was actually wearing a woman's prosthetic for pregnancy. Like it just wasn't working.
They call it moon bum.
Yeah, it was just not working. And also he had really obvious eyebrows, either tons of makeup on or his eyebrows were fake. And also the beard looked fake, and it looked right under his eyes if you looked really close. And he had JFK's exact hairline. Exact. So if that was his real hair, he had his exact hairline, and he had a full head of hair once he took his cowboy hat off. That was interesting. So was that a signal to JFK that he's connected to JFK? I don't know. These guys are kind of crazy. Who knows what they're up to? But it was definitely a different disguise than the one he was. They got that screenshot of him, supposedly. This did not look like the same guy because the eyebrows were darker. Yeah, it was really weird. It was like they're evolving him into JFK is what I'm thinking.
The fog of Wu and the reveal is still very thick. Still very thick.
Also, his jeans were all wrong. Like he was wearing thrift store jeans, 30 years old jeans. There's no way a guy with the money that guy has. He drove up.
He wears $4,000 cowboy boots. You'd think he could a regular pair of
jeans. He drove up in an Austin Martin, and we know he has all kinds of cars, and he has he flies planes and does all that stuff. Okay. let me tell you, the outfit he was wearing was out of a thrift store, except for the really nice leather coat that he wore day 2, I think, with all the fringes. But the whole rest of it was way off. He's trying to just downplay, or he's just fooling us or faking us out, or I don't know what he's up to. But
so, actually, let's start there on the cards. Thank you for that update. But it was supposed to be a big reveal, but yet there's no real reveal. Like there's no big aha. Like here's the headline: so and so is dead, so and so is arrested, so and so whatever. ET. Like okay, so what happened? Do we have a delay? Was this a delay because of the black hats, or was this a strategic delay on their part? They thought they were going to go live with something, but strategically they decided to wait. What do you think?
No, the live thing's supposed to be on November 2nd.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, this was just a big gathering of patriots. But the whole fact that they had it, so nobody was wearing masks in there. I don't know what that area is supposed to be like Vegas. Also, they'd rented a pretty swanky place. I felt like it was a pre-celebration party for patriots. That was my take on the whole shenanigans.
Okay, all right.
But why don't we ask the cards? What was that all about?
Because, why split it in two? Yeah, why split it in two? What's the... You kind of lose momentum because for a lot of people who didn't follow the setup to the story, they're like, oh, it happened, but nothing happened, right? So it's kind of like a weird disconnect. Typically in advertising, you don't launch unless you're ready to launch and sell your product. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it was weird, but okay.
Okay, let's ask that. Opining Lurker says 30-year-old jeans are much beaucoup better than new jeans. Maybe. Maybe. Yeah, old jeans are very comfortable compared to new ones. That's true. That's true.
I just doubt if though on his big reveal he'd wear that outfit. I just know he wouldn't, and he wouldn't look like that. There's no way.
But like you said, maybe there's a progression here. Maybe the next time it'll be a different outfit, closer and closer to what JFK would have looked like, Junior would have looked like. Yeah. Maybe because there was
a couple of times when he took his hat off, where on the side profile he actually looked just like him, with extra padding on his cheeks and fake beard, and fake eyebrows too. He had fake eyebrows. It was really interesting. I was like, "Come on, you guys, those are fake."
Fascinating times.
Yeah, it is crazy. Okay, so what was
that? Oh, why? What did I ask? Why the delay? Or no, why did they do it in two? Well, what was the whole point of this event here last week, if not a big reveal on that one?
Yeah, it was a reveal of Juan O'Sabin. Like he's stepping out, showing what he looks like.
Okay.
That was, I think, what they were getting at with the reveal.
Part one of the story. Yeah.
Yeah, it does look like it was just a partial, because we've got a knight, not a king. So it's not the big, obviously they're not trying to say it was a big finale of any kind. Apparently a whole bunch of messages were put out there. So I'd have to watch it really carefully again, because this card says a whole bunch of signaling and messages went out. So it was actually a strategic move on their part to signal and message.
Well, okay. Were they giving intel in person to strategic people in attendance, as opposed to through mail or phone or internet or whatever? Was this partly part of the operation?
Maybe not with that card. That feels like they thought maybe the Patriots needed a boost to keep them going to the finish line. It almost looks like a momentum booster.
A rah-rah moment.
Yeah, a rah-rah moment. And they're doing a victory lap. So I think they were, because I asked, what were they signaling? That feels like a victory. So they might have had a personal victory on the inside that only insiders know about. But they were stepping out a little bit because they feel more secure. They're signaling everything's a go, it feels like, because this card was next to it. So they're signaling something's ready to go.
Wow. Okay. Oh, you seem to be frozen on the screen, and so am I. The hell just
Oh,
happened? Oh, there you go. Okay, we're back.
okay.
I don't know what happened there. What was that last sentence?
I think they were just signaling that they're ready to go. This thing's ready to wrap up. At least a big domino's ready to fall.
Okay, they're all in starter positions, ready to
Yeah.
go. All right, cool. Okay, so what about Alec B here? Is it the connection through some of the other nasty people? Is this a hit? Is this a takedown? What can you say on this show? I know we're gonna have troubles if we go too far, but
yeah, we got to be careful. I get she's still with us.
Oh wow!
I got that right from the beginning, and I get it was a setup to make him look bad and signal that they've taken him down. He was already taken down. So whoever that was an actor playing him, a clone, something.
Yeah. Interesting also that Donald Trump Jr. was mocking Alec here by wearing a tacky t-shirt here. So what's the connection here to the Trump family also?
Yeah, it's interesting.
Well, Alec has been, since the election, doing all these skits on Saturday Night Live, pretending to be Trump and making fun of Trump and all that. So I'm sure they're not too happy with him. The least of which maybe his other connections to some of the islands, if we can just say it that way here too. So, wow.
Wasn't there that story just today? Was it today or yesterday that he actually got arrested? And it's just not in the news yet, but he got arrested.
Yes, I hesitate to bring it up because I haven't seen it in official news. Since when do I say that on this show? But yeah, it's a little fresh. So maybe you and I can we might do a deep dive on this one because I think there's way more to that story there we still don't know. So that's interesting.
Every which way signaling, like even who the woman was and where she was from.
Yeah.
All the gematria, but I feel like it's the white hats doing this double take it on the bad guys and making them just doing something they would do. Okay. And making them look like they did it.
Yeah.
Making him look bad, but he's actually already rounded up for crimes against humanity.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Mary Freeland, Jacques-Claude, the silver contact guy doesn't answer requests. I don't know. They're really busy, and I see all the requests going back and forth, Mary. So perhaps his email to you is in your spam folder, or perhaps yours went into his spam folder. So Mary, if that's the case, please just send me an email directly. You can do so through the contact form on my website. And just write that in the subject line, and I'll make sure that Andy Scheckman gets back to you. I know also they're very swamped, so it could be a day or two before everybody gets. But they're almost back on track here. They were super busy last week, and I think they've really caught up on all the delays. So it's possible, Mary, that you're in the spam folder there. So please just email me, and we'll get that rectified for you as soon as possible. Okay. Let me get to this PayPal story here. PayPal tip jar question first. It struck me as soon as we started the show, Janine. And of course, tomorrow you and I are doing another show with Tamara. And so I thought, maybe we could set some of the frequencies straight here for this show here tonight. So she says, a few days ago, I woke up to someone watching me while I slept. I couldn't actually see who it was. I knew someone was there and could see an outline of their figure. What was their intention? It felt related to me praying for the safety of SRA survivors. Amy, thank you so much, Amy, for that tip. It's amazing. So I guess her question there is, what was the intention?
And maybe who was that?
Sure. Let's do that.
It looks like somebody in her extended family from a long time ago. So had passed over, maybe even before she came to the family, and they've been sending her spiritual energy from the time she was little. So they're like maybe a guide or a protection, like spiritually on the other side, keeping an eye on her. Yeah, since she was little, since she was a child, and if she was told or she knows about that energy. Intuitively, she had it flash. She knows who it is.
Okay.
She energetically, because her intuition knows. So she just needs to quietly ask her intuition to tell it to her again. I actually get it. It's a male energy. So that's interesting. I don't get it female.
Oh, wow.
It's
Okay.
We got this card, so it's more masculine. And so it's from another way you could read that is from her father's side of the family. Another way you could read that.
Okay. Interesting.
But it's an extended family. No, I'm definitely getting a male.
Okay.
Because I wanted clarity, and this card came. So that's a guy. Okay, our masculine energy. And then we've got the 3. So they left the earth plane before she arrived, or when she was very little.
Okay. Okay. Wow. All right. Well, thank you so much. Eve, she said, JC and Janine, how close are we to the RV taking place? Well, on that note, Janine and I are just about to record episode 6 here of the Beyond Crypto Woo. It's available now on pre-order. Let me bring the link down for you guys. And yes, we are going to be talking about timing, how that relates to the COVID passports, what's happening in crypto world right now. Big announcements in the last couple of days. Man, we've been tracking so many things here, and every day I keep saying, Janine, hold on another day. I'm putting all more and more stuff onto the slide board here. So we might record this right after this show, depending how our energies are, or if not here tomorrow morning. But I'm hoping tonight if we can, folks. So please do go and check that out. Also, if you're a member of the Insider Access Pass group, of course, you'll get this as soon as we record. But you guys also have access to our Discord channel, which there's some people in the live chat now. And I have to make a little bit of a housekeeping note. I had a few emails saying that there were people in there sharing links that are private links to other people's stuff. And they were asking me if I knew about it. No, I don't. I don't monitor the Discord other than when we're in their live show to take questions for Janine. But that said, guys, as a rule of thumb, don't post anybody else's stuff unless you have permission to do so. There's copyright infringement law. So as you know, every time I talk about something from Clefai, I send him an email asking him, hey, can I share this particular clip of your particular video for this episode and for this reason? And if he says yes, then I share it. If he says no, then I don't share it. So please, folks, in our Discord, adopt that same policy and respect other people's works. If they're public, they're public. But if they're private on other people's Patrons, for example, it's not the right place to put it on my Discord channel. So I just wanted to share that. And of course, if you guys have questions for Janine and you're in the Discord now, please do populate the chat with those. Okay. Janine, this news story here, let me see here where I can start. There's a ton of news here too. Okay, I'll start with this one. You're seeing this message because the script is blocking software. Okay, I don't know what's going on here. But essentially, this was on the 23rd. Biden suffers worst approval ratings plunge of any president since World War II. How far have we gone in only a couple of months, Janine? And for the most secure election in history, the most votes ever tabulated for a president to the worst guy ever. Yeah. My question is to you, why now? Are they just about ready now to try to switch the Kamala character on us? Why is the deep state now in mainstream media finally admitting here that, well, first of all, he never had the approval ratings to begin with, but now they're finally saying the truth here, that he's the worst we've ever had. Why now, Janine? What's going on?
Because he really does have the worst.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, I tweeted about this. And I said, well, he never had the ratings to begin with. It was all a farce. But now at least they're saying the truth. Why now? Yeah.
They are anticipating the big crash. Right? So the big crash of the media, the financial system, everything, it's all going to go crash. I'd say we're days away, frankly. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking days. Yeah. And they are going to try to push maybe a female. So that's I never got Kamala though, so that's weird.
I know you said that many times on other shows before.
And this card never comes up as her because she's not technically a female. Mm-hmm. So this is weird. Mm-hmm. So I don't know who this is, but they're in a really bad spot. So this is the bad guys are really even inner fighting and like hitting a wall here. Yeah, this card was above this, so this is clarifying that. So yeah, they're hitting a wall. They're feeling like their time is up in the public even. Like I think that their time's been up for a long time, but at least they were faking it till they make it in the public eye, what with the mainstream media still limping along, you know, putting out their obvious fear-mongering and stupidity. That's being polite.
Yep.
Yeah, so they're in a tough spot, and this is a desperation, and maybe just they're up against a wall. I mean, what can they say? They are nobody. I bet it's 10,000 times worse than what they're saying. I bet it is.
Well, just judging from the algos on YouTube and the likes versus the dislike, I mean, this guy is the worst popularity ever since election day. Come on. Okay, so at least the normies are going to wake up to this very soon here, and that's fascinating. Because yes, I do know quite a few normies too who, for the longest time, it was Orange Man Bad was the only thing they were saying, and now they're like, JC, what's that song, Brandon about? Why you know? I'm like, yeah, right. So I did a video on this last Friday with Joe. We had a bit of fun with that, but that's pretty.
What funny. Tell me about that, because I kind of missed the joke there.
Okay. Let me see what I can do here. Let me collect my thoughts so I don't use bad words here. Okay, so let me see if I can show this on the screen. So this is my video with Joe. Go check it out. And of course, the algo chose that exact spot where I'm talking about this song, this rapper song, during the video for the promo. So that's not me doing that. That's just the algos. But essentially, this guy, Brandon, he's a race car driver. He wins a race, okay? And you know how in the last couple of months, in stadiums, people are chanting bad words to the president, whatever. So I won't say that, right? And so here, as he just won the race, a reporter from CNN is trying to have an interview with the winner of the race, and people are screaming in the background, And so to cover up, the reporter says, oh, look, they're chanting, let's go, Brandon, the winner of the race, to try to fool everyone that effectively they're not saying what they're saying. And of course, so this rap video, this guy who just did this rap video, he's calling her out and saying, hey, bitch, we all know what they're saying. Like, we're not stupid. Like, you know what I mean? And so it's a hilarious, really, really hilariously well-made song. But now, of course, it's being banned everywhere. And it's just shooting its popularity even higher. So it's just, of course. And right after this, of course, the media casualty of Joe Rogan bitch-slapping Sanjay Gupta on the Joe Rogan Experience. Now this, I mean, these are the media casualties that Cliff High we're talking about, where people just don't trust the news anymore. It's like, bitch, we can hear them. They're not saying, let's go, Brandon. Like, like it's right in your face. They're lying to you.
They've been doing that for, since they began, though. So.
Yeah. Hankowitz says, it's the best apocalypse ever. It's entertaining. I got to tell you. It's very entertaining. Okay. Let me bring up, thank you, everyone, for that one. That was funny. Okay. Let's bring up this one here. I've been tracking a few cities like this, too. And of course, we have the cops here in Ontario who a couple of weeks ago were on a demonstration in front of Queen's Park. And lo and behold, it wasn't on mainstream news. You're not allowed to know that our cops here don't agree with this mandate. And so here, this is just like, I guess, a survey of what they're seeing so far. And they're saying that a lot of cities could lose about a third of their police force. In some cases, it's even higher than that in some of the countries, counties per se. So my question is, are we about to see here, both in the United States and in Canada, a big reversal where all of the cops, even maybe those who took the jab, follow through and say, you know what, this far no further, we're actually going to serve and protect the population as opposed to imposing this mandate? How close are we to that when we see this type of news?
Wasn't there a big open letter from the RCMP or something like that said we're standing for people's action?
Yeah, the RCMP's union is standing for their police officers, and also that didn't really make the news here in Canada, just like Canada Post also backtracking on the mandate, giving exemptions to their employees. So also not repeating that 24/7 on the news. You're not allowed to know that because, of course, if you listen to the posters, the majority of Canadians agree, don't you know? So you're not allowed to know the people who don't agree. So anyways, let's go back to this question. How far are we from maybe a big swell? There was a big rally in New York today too of cops and firefighters, also in demonstration against the mandate. But how close are we here to the cops really switching side towards service for the people as opposed to the machine? Merci, Claudette Leblanc. She says, great question, JC. I love Claudette. She's nice. She's from our neck of the woods, Janine. She's from Northern Ontario somewhere.
Awesome. We're getting a lot of Canadian viewers, actually.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, way more. I've seen a lot more on my channel. Okay, so we got the Magician and the King of Swords. Okay. So when you say how close, I think all of this gets pulled back before it goes that far.
Yeah, we seem to be at that moment too, where the whole thing could break down before we see the big fight. Yeah.
Yeah, everything gets held up because something else is happening. These are all hold up, every one of them. So the whole thing gets shelved because there's some huge thing coming out that outs all the players, the big players. So Fauci, like all of the creeps that put this forward get outed.
Well, Fauci's not in good standing right now with the testing on dogs. I mean, people went livid. And it's funny, even the anti-vax, okay, I'm just going to watch my words, but everybody can agree, doing these horrible experiments on pets, it changed a lot of people's mindset as soon as they saw that came out 2 days ago. And I think that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Tip of the iceberg, because some more stuff came out about that, basically doing the same thing with inner city at-risk youth that got taken away from their parents.
Yeah.
There was a whole place in New York that they were doing these, and he was the head of it. They were doing experiments on at-risk children, which of course happens, by the way, all over the world. I
was going to say what the computer guys were doing in Africa. I'll just say it that way. Again, there too. Yeah. Grabbing people from the street. Okay, so that's interesting. Let me see here. That ties into, you just mentioned we're close to that big event, this big reveal. Let me bring this one up here. Cliff did this video, Chrono Woo. I want you guys to go check that out. Janine and I were talking about this in a pay-per-view and also on the live stream, I think last week. We were trying to figure out what was all this timing all about? Why October 15? Why is everybody around the world looking at these same dates? What's the impetus and all that? So please do go check this video out. Man, Cliff really brought it together in this video, and it made sense to me, finally, because I've been racking my brains on this exact question for a long time. So Chrono Woo, go check that out. But my question for you, Janine, is October 28th the date? That's somewhere ballpark figure here, maybe give or take 3 days. We're in that window now where Cliff is picking up a demarcation moment in his data that suggests that after that date, whether it's the 28th or another date, the world is no longer the same. And we all know it. It's not just a small pocket, it's everyone.
So this was below that. So that's the desired date to, I think, bring something really unique forward. We're so close to it. I'm thinking within days of it, like you said. It'll get us to the other side of this. It'll get us to, so it'll flip everything on its butt, like you said. Mm-hmm. So it may not be the end of everything, because there are going to still be pockets of places pushing this and pushing that, pockets of deep state governments that didn't get the memo that they're going down. You know what I mean? But I feel like there's still some minions that, still they're so brainwashed that they're playing out these things.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I think's happening with the weather. They put it into motion a long time ago, and it's carrying out all these things, but even though they've been taken down for the most part. So yeah, I feel like this is it. They're already there at the that card ends everything. So whatever we're seeing of them is desperation Okay. And yeah, what our wish is that everything flips. So yeah, everything will flip, but it may not be exactly like there's so many versions of how is that going to go down.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll have something they got planned to flip this. So everything gets stopped in its tracks.
Okay.
And that's what it looked like with those 3 cards that were all stop cards.
Okay, fascinating. You just mentioned the weather, so I had this queued up for you in the slide deck also. So this, and again, got to give credit to Cliff here. He had this way back when in the data. He talked about these atmospheric rivers that nobody knew about. Now it's actually in the wording of some of these articles. So this particular one here, the storm that's hitting the West Coast now, just took out the wildfire in California. And the next one apparently is going to be hitting New York. So let me see if we can bring that one up here. The next bomb cyclone could unfold over New York City. Is this particular weather group, the two I'm just mentioning now, weather warfare, but from the good side? What's happening? Is this cover for something else? I'm going to go to the Insider Access Pass next. The question is from Melinda B. So hold on, I'll be right back to you guys there. So is this okay? So it's go ahead.
Again, we've got something that was desired by the good guys, or so put forth by the good guys. They've been working on it for a really long time. So I think they're counteracting some of the things the bad guys had put in place a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
So there's counteracting and at least balancing it out. If not stopping it in its tracks, at least they're minimizing the damage that it would have done. And they've been doing that all along on every front. So all of the really scary emails that go around and people send me and everything, every time I look at them, take everything down quite a few notches.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the thing at the Texas border, I get it's not good, but it's nothing like they're portraying. Don't forget, again, people get really mad at me when I say this, but don't forget, all the videos of people walking. So there's supposed to be like 9,000 or million people walking. Okay. Coming towards the border. So they got these video shots of that. Okay. The S guy did that too. We discovered that all of those video footage were they actually paid actors to do it in little bunches, and then they'd probably just repeat the pattern of it. Mm-hmm. So they might have had 300 of them. So, and when you look at the video footage and somebody breaks it down for you, you can see that some people are wearing flip-flops, they're carrying cell phones, they're laughing and joking in the background. They do not look like desperados or people that have been walking for hundreds of miles. Okay. They look fresh. Some of them even look like and who's feeding them all the way and what on earth? Give me a break. Okay. They don't look like a desperate caravan. So you have to look closely at these things. Both sides are doing these psyops. I'm telling you. Take it down. Yes, there's issues at the border. They're trying to show you what would have happened if Mr. B was actually in charge. Okay.
Is it possible also, I believe that is the case to some extent. Is it possible also that some of the WebBot data, maybe you can pull some cards on this too, that part of that strategy is also by the bad guys to infiltrate some age-appropriate fighting men into the US here as the attempt maybe to secure the control over the country or to perhaps continue to destabilize the country and eventually balkanize it. I hope I'm doing justice to some of that data, but essentially it would appear that part of that movement here is to infiltrate the country with I said age-appropriate fighting men, but you get what I'm saying. These are not tired migrants. They're trained warriors to some extent.
Okay, I'm actually getting that a lot of that, either some of those guys get turned around and sent home, or it was largely exaggerated how many got in the country.
Okay.
Okay, so if they take video footage of one bunch. They can make it look like, so they're utilizing the mainstream media to the negative, like, to get back at the bad guys, to make, like, I feel like this is information warfare. So every time I ever looked at those really scary things that look like the whole country's going to collapse, the whole US, and everything's gone just to, you know what? No, it doesn't look like that. I think a lot of this stuff's going to get stepped back. And I'm sitting here saying that. So obviously, if I'm wrong, I'll be proven wrong real soon here.
Yeah.
But I just have to say what I get in the cards. I'm not trying to.
No, I appreciate that.
They're doing this because it's part of the war game.
And you know what's funny too with the WebBot data, and I need to caution the audience, the WebBot data is forecasting language, not the event. So often in the media, we'll see language of the Zika virus. Oh my God, it's the end of the world. It was predicting that, but the Zika virus was never the end of the world. It was a flash in the pan, right? So it was predicting the language of something, but not the actual event. So again, here, faut faire la part des choses in French. We kind of have to put some, what's the expression? Put some water in your wine. And in English, I don't know what it is. At any rate, you guys understand. Raptor Lily says, JC, have you and Janine, have yourself or Janine know anything about the Hopi virus? I do, actually. And that could be a good investigative show, especially now, given the times that we're in. So Janine, thank you, Raptor Lily. I'll keep that in mind for the next show. Okay, Melinda B from the Insider Access Pass members group. Thank you so much, everyone, for supporting us there. Why are Indigenous children targeted? Question mark, to steal their natural psychic abilities. So does it have to do, I'm adding this part here, with something of the purity of their blood that could be highly desirable in the overall industry production of those party substances? So I'm going to add that part. But she's specifically alluding to here, Melinda, natural psychic abilities. A big yes. Wow.
So yes, and yes to what you said, but also I get availability and vulnerability. So they also look for who's easy to snag, right? Like where are the vulnerable families? So they're looking for vulnerability. So if some communities are more vulnerable because of the state of where they're at in the history of humanity, okay, and all kinds of cultures have been vulnerable throughout the ages, different ones at different times. So it's also about, like how easy are they to snatch too?
Right.
And also who's going to go looking for them? Okay, because we got that highway of tears situation here in Canada, and I know it extends into the States too, but there's situations like that all over the world. Who do they talk? Like, I think that's why that whole Gabby story went huge, because it was a white hat op is what I got. I know it sounds nuts, but I can't wait till this stuff comes out. I really hope it does. It was a white hat op to show you, okay, who gets all the news coverage? It's definitely not thousands and thousands of Indigenous kids.
No. And, we just had our Truth and Reconciliation Day here, and the Prime Minister couldn't even bother attending. He was surfing somewhere. So that just shows you how really they want truth and reconciliation. Okay. Man, I could do a whole show on that. It's very frustrating. As a Canadian, very frustrating. A true, you know what I mean. Anyways, okay, Billy, thank you. Okay, what was the next one? I just saw something cool. Something about the UK. Okay, what's going on in the UK? There are contradictions and dire warnings coming from the government. Yeah, Cliff was also saying too, the UK might fall here as Australia and New Zealand. How close are we to that? Or do we have the event that precedes maybe that collapse here where there's big fighting on the street? Can we get maybe an update on the UK? Quite a few questions in the live chat also about that. So thank you, guys.
Yeah, it's really like most of their high up people are corrupt. Okay, we knew that. A whole lot of them have made deals in the background and are just puppeted. So you got a shadow government actually happening. People kind of have to remember that. like, so if everything looks like a big mess, well, it was always a big mess, but they were just faking it and letting them, they were feeding them their lines, right? They were feeding them. Okay, there's going to be a big, somebody leaves the Earth plane that's going to take everything on a new track. And I know that that's likely the
Queen?
The Queenie.
Yeah.
And I'll just say it. What a lot of us are saying and thinking, and what I've been getting, and what a whole bunch of other people are saying the same thing with Intel. So they're not using cards to get it, but they got the same thing, and I got it with the cards, is that that's a signal for the takedown. That's potentially one of their big signals. So when they announced, because she was gone a long time ago, as far as I'm concerned, and a lot of people agree with me, but when they announced that,
it was in the hospital. Yeah,
that's the beginning of all the stuff that we've been hearing would happen, didn't happen yet. Yeah. Okay, so instead of doing the protocol for the Queen and all this honoring of her, and they got their own protocol, and that's when the White Hats Alliance kicks in and steps up in the front of all these governments, and martial law and everything could be very short-lived, though, they say, and not the bad kind, like you're thinking. Right. So that's what they're saying is going to happen. And then they do take down medias, but instead of in the UK, what they would have done was 10 days of BBC would only play stories about the Queen and her family. Well, it's not going to go down like that. There'll be the other kind of stories about everybody, all the bad stories. So the EBS thing, and apparently that's all ready to go, right? And the signal is likely going to be the Queen.
Yeah, it's already taped in the can, ready to go. They just need to press play when it goes. That's what I get too. That's interesting. And let's bring back a little piece here too. You pulled the cards, I think, on a live stream, maybe 5 or 6 months ago. We were asking about what was her name? Digilo. Romano, right? Maybe at the same time as her, or before her. We were talking about the Commonwealth, and you picked up the card and said, "Yeah, you're right. The Canadian or Commonwealth itself was going to dissolve at some point here, and Canada would also dissolve. Like the structures that we have now dissolves." And I've been hearing this also here lately from other people who are not psychics, who are saying it might very well look that a lot of your provinces will loosely join some other states here, because the states are also dissolving right now. We're seeing it in front of our eyes. And of course, they're talking about if the Queen dies, this complete dissolution of the Commonwealth apparatus or structure. Mm-hmm. That's interesting that you had pulled out on that too, and other people right now are seeing that too. So can you imagine from Africa, like everything there to man, these are big tectonic plates of power around the world that's going to happen. We thought World War II, Bretton Woods, and the placement of power, like the map of power and those little fiefdoms or kingdoms, how they were set up after World War II was a big change. This one coming up is not going to be, we're not going to recognize anything.
No.
Yeah.
There's also an interesting, some pictures were sent to me and got circulated. Let me know in the chat, everybody, if you've seen these, of William, Kate, and the kids. So who's supposed to be William, Kate, and the kids, and their nanny. And they were in the Heathrow airport, and people did some investigating, and what they were leaving on some flight, which is very weird, because wouldn't they be taking like some private plane if they were still the monarch was still together? Okay, so we're thinking that might have crumbled already. And apparently they had rented, so you can rent this very private waiting room, because they had 3 hours to wait. Flights were held up or something. And they rented this very private waiting space they didn't take private planes though. So don't you find that I found that interesting. Mm-hmm. Really? And they actually had footage of them at Heathrow, but I don't know if that was debunked or fake or what. Wow. What they can do nowadays. But was it a signal to say these guys are just regular folks now? They got to take planes like everybody else.
Like Bill Clinton. Yeah. Commonwealths of nations. Isn't it funny? Commonwealths. The wealth wasn't common. It was
Yeah.
segregated and isolated to one person here. So it wasn't among the commoners. So it's just funny, like the Patriot Act. It's the opposite of the Patriot Act. Or here in Canada, the Fair Elections Act. Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
So you guys know what they're doing. Okay. PayPal tip jar. This next one here too is pretty cool. Let me see if I can bring that up for you guys. April Miller. She says, if some of us are going to a new dimension, but other family members are not, how will that work when they say we are not really leaving where we are? I was talking about this with Bryce last week, I think, on the show, and it's fascinating because it's confusing. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Do you want to pull cards on this? Do you want to give
Sure, we can pull cards.
Like separation is going to happen if and when it does happen? Okay. Let's do that.
I've looked at it before, and I always got everybody's going.
Okay.
There's going to be no separation. So whoever's, whatever happens here in the next little while, everybody's who's coming is coming, and who's not coming is off the earth plane. That's what I always got. But let's we better do a checkup on it.
Well, I'll give you another sliver there to put in there as a possibility. There are other seers who are saying that perhaps a portion who are going, but who are not ready to go, will be brought up on ships to acclimatize to new frequencies, and then will join. So, but essentially, everybody's going at the end of the day here, as you're saying. But maybe that's another mechanism here we're trying to discover here as to how this is going to unfold.
It's absolutely looking like everybody's going, because there's some kind that she's loving and accommodating, and this is the whole family. And then this has been my off-worlder. So somehow the off-worlders, the good ones, wise ancient beings, are going to help with the process. This was underneath the off-worlders card, making sure everybody who's left is ready to go. So that does sound like it could be what you're saying. There could be some kind of tweaking of people's consciousness to catch them up.
Okay.
Or deprogram, like take all the toxic programming out. Because if somebody's so programmed that they won't even listen to the obvious reasonable things we bring up, and all of a sudden we're branded like, and I'm not saying all of this other stuff's reasonable, because it could sound pretty out there for sure. I get that. But the reasonable part is all your rights are being taken away. They said this was going to be 2 weeks to handle the curve, and it's been 2 years and no end in sight. And it's obvious who's making zillions of dollars. Everybody's going broke. How is that about your health? None of it's about. So if someone can't see that, they are clearly some weird magic spell brainwashed, because like either that or they're downright stupid. And we know that a lot of our relatives are not. I have really intelligent friends, and they're still thinking that. They're still believing the narrative. So, and they're not foolish people. So what is that about? They are under us.
But most of the people at the party completely awake. So these people had a hard time holding that frequency with that group. And it was just like, wow. I mean, there's people who are confused. I'm meeting a lot of confused people. But these were hardcore, like, let's jail all the anti-vaxxers, blah, blah, blah. Like, they're the problem. And like, oh, my God. Like, wow. Okay, I don't want to get into it too much. But anyways, it was interesting.
It doesn't even make logical or biological sense.
No.
Doesn't make any sense.
No. Okay, this is from the live stream. Lindsay, Elizabeth, Jean-Claude, and Janine. Is this week a bad week for traveling? Well, generally speaking, we're so close to shit happening. Me personally, without reading the cards, I would say stay close to home. Stay close to people you need to protect. If you have an emergency, you have to go somewhere, then you have to go. But if you don't, I mean, we're so close to weird things happening. Me personally, I want to stay close to the people I want to protect and be with while weird things are happening. That's just me. What do your cards say, Janine?
Okay, you're right about we're so close to things happening. So close to things happening. So 6, everything's lined up, and everything they wanted to have lined up is ready to go. So anybody that says a red October was a bust, even if you didn't see things, think it wasn't a bust. They got so much done. Oh my goodness. So they're really ready to go. So around the travel, it's saying, you might want to wait a bit here, because this card says it'll be frustrating for sure. You might get stuck somewhere, because this is a boundary card. You could get stuck somewhere. And also places, if things go into a bit of chaos, you might have, depending on where you're going, various different sort of local authorities not knowing what the heck's going on themselves. So now they're going to maybe be really difficult to deal with if they think martial law just went into place.
Yeah, so there's a frustration of moving around, and then there's the, oh man, I'm not home, something just happened, there's no power, there's no this, and I better protect the kids. Like, for me, that's a big factor as well. Really
plan it out and be strategic and have a plan B for what you're doing. Yeah, but otherwise maybe just stay tight, because this card wants you to stay put for a bit. Yeah.
Okay.
So, or if you absolutely have to be traveling, have a couple of plans, because my feeling is it will not be, it might seem scary if you don't know what's going on, but I get it'll quickly show itself to be what it is. So if you're somebody watching shows like this, you'll be happy for it. Okay. But it's not exactly going to be that comfortable, logistically, to just get around and stuff. Wow. But I don't get nearly as bad as, I don't get it's like if there's threats of imminent danger, it's not real. I never get that. If that's what shuts everything down, it's not going to be real. So knowing that is going to give you a great head start. So have a couple of plans for exit routes or to hunker down for a few days. For wherever you are, you might have to just hunker down. So if you're okay with that, you like an adventure like that, it doesn't look like it's dangerous per se. Right. It's just going to be frustrating to get around.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a good question. I hope you guys get the piece that you need for your decision here. That's good. Kate says, JC says bitch, the most proper, polite way I've ever heard it. Did I say bitch tonight in the show? Oh, it's for the Let's Go Bears.
At the beginning.
Sorry about that. It's my French. Okay, Kate, thank you. Maybe she's coming in late and she's watching and she's behind on the chat because it just came up now. Okay, that's funny. Eric, let me see if I can bring this one up. Eric Klein, thank you. Love your show. Thank you, Buzz, for all you do. Hey, thanks, man. No question, though. Okay. Brian, thanks for what you guys do. Question. I almost died in a terrorist grenade attack in India 15 years ago. Any info on what surrounded that? Brian. Whoa. Okay. That's interesting. What surrounded it and what maybe protected him? I'm more curious about who intervened. That would be my gut feeling question.
Well, what I'm getting is if he looks at what happened around it and after it, somehow there might have been a meeting with someone that was really important. So it threw you in the path of someone. that you wouldn't have been in the path of. So a past life person. So it was a ploy by the universe. It was the wish of the universe to put you with this soul connected other. Even if it was just a friendship, doesn't mean it was a partnership, but it could have been a partnership. But there was some past life person you had work to do with. And I don't know where they came in the scenario, but they wouldn't have come if it wasn't for that intersection called I almost got in that terrible situation. Somehow how the stones fell after that, and you ended up meeting someone, or all around that it was all about a meeting of you and somebody else. So that's interesting. Yeah. And it was to your advantage that it happened. So if you can piece that together, because your life turned out better because of that intersection, not worse. So I'd love to hear the whole story around it. But
wouldn't it be funny if he replied back, "Oh yeah, I married the nurse that stitched me back together in the hospital"? Wouldn't that be funny? Okay.
Well, I don't know how that played out, but I can see it must have been very off-putting, obviously, in the situation itself, and it could have even been harmful or held you up for quite a while. But I feel like something really good actually came out of it that wouldn't have otherwise. So the universe was lining something else up. And lining up you meeting somebody. So it was all a ploy by the universe.
Isn't it interesting? Huh? And my first question to first time I guess on my show is always, how did the universe conspire to bring you to the work you're doing, right? The universe conspires, guys, whether you know it or not. It's fascinating. Jean Taylor says, did Jean-Claude just say Eric Clapton? No, I think it was Eric Klein. How do you hear Clapton? But Klein. Oh, that's funny. Okay, this next story here on Zero Hedge, new evidence reveals that Facebook was censoring conservative content. No shit! He's saying it so, Janine. What are you talking about? Okay, I bring this up because in the Insider Access Pass, somebody's saying, Gemini27, thank you so much. Question for Janine. Charlie Ward was saying that we will soon have a Trump TV. So will there be no need for an EBS announcement? Is this true? Will there be an EBS announcement? So why is this, like, what's the relationship here? Now we're seeing in mainstream media, of course, Facebook is caught lying to their investors about their numbers and people leaving the site. And so it's a big hoopla. Now they're censoring. And so are we seeing here the dismantling of this social media in an attempt to create something new that is more for the people? Or are we going to actually see here Trump TV itself play a part in here?
Okay, I'm thinking Trump TV might be later than Charlie's thinking.
Okay.
So I feel like it evolved. Something evolves that he might be involved in. Absolutely, he's a partner in it. He has other partners too. It's not just him. Okay, but maybe who knows? Maybe they'll play it up like that. But it's going to be held up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hold ups with this card. And the thing that we are going to see, and I don't know if it'll come through the EBS or how exactly it'll come, but we are going to see tribunals. Some of them those will be maybe televised, and or you'll see film footage from when they happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like I believe that part's true, and this is what it's looking like. You will see that, but not all of it. I think they're selecting certain ones just to say what they need to say, but they're not going to show every one of them. But the TV thing could get held up. Okay. And so I love Charlie Ward, but he does tend to, and I've done this myself for years, so I had to sort of train myself out of it, and I could still be caught doing it actually, but totally over positive thinking everything, which is great, by the way, and it helps me manifest things. And I'm not going to apologize for it for 1 second because it's who I am, but I can see it in Charlie Ward too. He is very enthusiastic he knows the outcome. He feels the outcome. He's known it for a long time, and he's already there enjoying it, which I give, that's cool. That's how you manifest things. So good for him. But people that don't think that way need to take that kind of stuff with a grain of salt too, right? Okay. And it doesn't mean he's lying or he's not. All of this stuff's coming. It's all coming. But it's going to take time, and there's stuff to happen first. But I feel it Totally.
I think nothing is going to unfold the way we think although ultimately we're going to where we think we're going. I don't think the road we're going to take is going to be anywhere close to the road we think we're going to take. That's my take on all this stuff. It's going to be so weird and so surprising, and like it's not going to be in a straight line. That's for sure.
You have to be an adventurer to be around right now.
Yeah. And you have, and like Cliff says, way woo. You have to be in the woo. You have to roll with the punches. You have to go with the flow in order to navigate this. Again, go check out Way Woo. Was the last, I think, video he put out yesterday. Let me see if I can find that. Wait, why is that not there? I thought it was. Oh yeah, there it is. So there you go. That's the video you're looking for. The Way Woo. Karen AB. How much longer till mainstream media tells actual truths? Okay, so we're kind of like back on that theme here, again from the Insider Access Pass. Are we close to? We've seen the media casualties now already. We've named a few already in the last couple of weeks. How close are we here to either a takeover, in-your-face takeover, where we see new characters, or perhaps the same characters but suddenly change their script? Can we get like a percentage or days or weeks from the cards? What do you think, Janine? Hey guys, while we're waiting, there's 8,300 people watching live in the chat. I love it. Thank you so much. Please hit the like button. Whether you're watching on Janine's show or on my show, please hit the like button and also subscribe so you don't miss the next live streams. Thank you so much, everyone, for supporting our show. Absolutely amazing. When we started this, we had 200-300 live people in the chat. Now over 8,000, and it's harder and harder to read the scroll. That's for sure. But thank you. We love each and every one of you. Okay, go ahead, Janine.
This can be my November card.
Okay.
But I think there's something coming in November that gets us through. Then there's a big holdup of information. And I think I remember Juan O'Sullivan talking about this. And then I get early in the new year, where we get some of those kind of video footage of trials and stuff.
Difficult stuff. Yeah, difficult. Yeah.
Something will come before that, though, that really helps you know what's coming.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about this, the EBS. A lot of people were asking. A lot of people are talking about these power outages because of these weird storms. There's weather warfare and all this, how that connects to these days of darkness. Again, we're getting reports also of weird ET activity, both in the sky and underwater. All of this is culminating into what Janine and I were seeing a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago now, in terms of forecasting days of not having connection, or not having processing payments through the banks, or not having the ability to get your money out of the bank because of some of these outages. Can we get an update on that, Janine? How, if we're still on track for seeing those days of darkness and some of those disruptions that kept coming up in the cards here a couple of weeks ago? We're seeing hints about it already, but how close are we to those perhaps main events here?
Intermittently. And less damaging than you think. So you'll have a couple of days where you don't get contact, and then it's back up again, where you can go to the bank again, where you can, So it's going to be there's intermittent, but this is good guy stuff. So it's not like you're going to lose, because this is an integrity card. So you're not. Meanwhile, the banks aren't keeping all your money, or I don't get that. Maybe there's going to be some tiny pockets of that, if there's still some strongholds of the old system. But I'm not seeing it that widespread at all. I'm seeing it. And then the outcome's really good. Things get back on track. There'll be a lot of going forward, trying to mend, heal, and put Humpty Dumpty back together again, right? But at least the good news is, this is not months of no food, water, electricity, nothing like that. Thank goodness. This is, they did this on purpose. I feel like this will be fairly short-lived, 10 days, but it won't even be 10 days straight is what I think. Intermittent with that card.
Okay.
Or 2 weeks or whatever it's going to be, but it feels like there's times when you can reboot and organize, and just recognize you might have another couple of those. So if you initially just have 3 days where you're cut off, do all the stuff you got to do and then get ready for another 3 days, or do you know what I mean? It's could be a bit of a bumpy ride there, but I don't think it's anything like some of the fear mongering's been saying.
Well, we're definitely getting some weird, again, in the last couple of weeks. I see all the emails coming in. JC, the PayPal doesn't work. What's going on with your site? It's not my site. It's PayPal. For some reason, they have these rolling issues in different countries of the world where suddenly they're no longer accepting our clients' credit cards, so they can't get the pay-per-view stuff. So again, this is why Janine and I had put up together this coupon code called Stay Connected in one word. If you guys want to check that out, that'll give you 10% off the year subscription. So hopefully the plan was here that if you're already behind the paywall, you don't have to deal with the issues of perhaps payment processing going down or bank going down as you're trying to access our material here during these weird times. So Janine and I kept pushing back the expiry date on this coupon code because people keep asking it. So it's still live for you guys now. And that, of course, is for the Insider Access Pass. And let me see if I can bring that back up here. Hold on. But we're also going to be looking at new coins here today, as well as they're popping into our field of view here as we plan for 2022. So this is going to be a very, very extensive report for you guys. And of course, 1111, very cheap compared to other psychic reports on crypto that are all between $20, $30, $40, $50, some of them. So please give that a try. If you haven't already, you can get your tickets now on pre-order, and the episode will be live for the Insider Access Pass members later this evening, and for the general public tomorrow night, so tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon. So if you get your ticket, you'll have instant access as soon as that is posted for you guys. What was the other thing I wanted to ask? Oh, the pay-per-view thing. Okay, hold on. So once you get to the pay-per-view page, guys, so that's beyondmystic.net/pay-per-view, there you're looking for, and while you're at it, please fill out the newsletter. If we do go down, or if we have weird issues here again, of course, this happens a lot to us, Janine and I, at least there we'll be able to email you and let you know from where we're broadcasting from. So that's the newsletter on the site, but this is the annual Insider Access Pass you're looking for. That's what you're looking for there. Okay, Janine, there was a question on the screen. I want to finish with this one. Hopefully I didn't lose it. Somebody was asking about the Julian calendar. Damn it, I think it scrolled off. So essentially, I'll go by memory, but somebody was asking, 2 or 3 people were asking, okay, after all this weird shit happens, are we going to be changing our calendar? Here, the questioner was asking specifically about the Julian calendar. I honestly don't think we're going back to that one, but I know that we are not when we are told we are. This is a gut feeling of mine. Other researchers have done this research as well. So are we, at some point here in the future here, going to redress the clock to where it actually is supposed to be? Oh, big yes.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep, we will. Okay, so it's been hidden from us, our true date. Okay, and I wonder if we're older than it says we are.
Interesting too.
Because this card's got strength, perseverance, and steadfastness, and she's really conquered. She took a really long time to tame her inner beasts or difficult karma, or you could, whatever this was, depending on what the question was and who got the card or whatever. So us as humans, and around the question around time. So she's been working at something for a really long time and has gotten really good at something. And also this card's infinity above here. So infinity. So I think we're way more further along, or it just doesn't even work anything like we've been told. If you still think time is linear, I guess that would make sense, because it really isn't.
Yeah.
It does a big loop around like that thing does there.
That's fascinating. Technically, so just to answer your question, there's two things to what you just said. I believe that we are much older than we're told. Our whole history about when we started and all that, it doesn't make any sense. But the latest research is also that they added maybe 1,000 year to our calendar, so that we're not actually in 2021. We're in 1021. And why they did that, we're not sure, but it might have something to do with tricking us as to when these Kali Yuga or the Yugas are actually taking place in some of these astrological alignments. Again, to maybe skew our ability to forecast the world here. So there's a lot there, guys. That's a whole other show. But thank you. That was a great question. It's funny. 2 people asked that in the live stream, and I forgot your name. It rolled off too quick from the screen. And somebody says, coupon code says expires. That can't be. Let me fix that right away. While I'm there, analytics, marketing, coupons. Let me see. That can't be. Hold on. Is that possible? Stay connected. October 24th. You're right. I apologize. Okay, let me bring it back. Hold on.
Is it the 25th today?
It's the 25th today. Yeah. Yes. How did I get that wrong? I'm so busy, guys. You can't believe everything that's happening here. And of course, I'm rushing to get everything done before winter. So update. Okay. Now the coupon code is active. So thank you, Patty, for saying that. And somebody else was asking something. Hold on. Wait, where did it go? JC. Somebody said, did JC call that reporter a bitch? I'm like, well, kind of, but I thought I was quoting the song, so I might have got that wrong. But it seems that it caught a lot of people's attention by using that word here tonight, so that's funny. Yep. Oh, man. Okay. Geez, Janine, I have so many other things I want to ask you, but we're already at hour 10, and we have another show, and you have another show to do. So, okay, last words of wisdom then, because wait, the 28th. No, we'll be back here in 2 days. We're back here tomorrow night with Tamara. So let me bring that up for the folks so you can see the poster here and go and schedule that. And then you and I are going to be back here again on Wednesday night. So maybe instead of asking how to navigate the next couple of days, what does universe want us to know here in the next 24, 48 hours that might be relevant here to the audience? And Charlene says, I love you both. Love you too. Thank you. So here's the poster for tomorrow night, Tamara. And that, guys, is at 9 p.m. Eastern time. It's 1 hour later for this one. Okay, go ahead, Janine.
Energy is going to be really intense. I've been feeling it. Like this morning when I woke up, I had the worst headache, and it took me half a day to shake it. Okay, so we could get some, it could just feel really like a pressure cooker because of all the things sort of gearing up. So that could be just generally, I'm hoping that doesn't happen to individuals, but if it does, if you don't take it personally, sometime when things are happening in the universe, you think it's you personally are not feeling good, but I like to always first blame it on the stars, the universe, the rhythms, weird things going on. And, and I don't blame it right away on my own body. It's interesting. And it really helps me shake it quicker. Okay. Everything's about how you feel about it. So what you're saying to yourself. So instead of going, oh man, I'm not doing so good. It's like, no, that something's going on and it's telling you something. Think of it that way. And it could shift the whole thing, right? Don't own it and take it into yourself. Do you guys get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So things could be really, and I feel like even stressful. And it might not be your stress you're picking up on. It could be the leaving of the dark ones. They're desperately trying to get off planet. Apparently, there's all these portals being activated because they're trying to leave because they know their time's up, like officially. Do you know what I mean? Like there's some weird things happening in LA where portals that used to be sort of known places that wise people guess to be portals have been covered over or taken down. So it's really weird things going on, you guys. Okay. So, and get lots of rest because you're going to need it coming up.
Oh, that's good advice. Absolutely. Thank you so much, JC and Janine. Love you both. Really like the chemistry. We love our chemistry too. And we love your chemistry. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. And again, please remember to like, share, subscribe. 8,635. I think that's our record tonight of people live in the chat. Absolutely amazing. Somebody was asking me, JC, were you dressed as Fauci for Halloween? No, actually, I was embodying a past life. I'll just say that. And it felt really effing weird. I got to tell you, as soon as I saw myself in the mirror, I'm like, whoa, like this feels like familiar. Yeah. What did you think of the picture, Janine?
I thought it looked really like you two looked perfect in those outfits.
Yeah. Well, Sarah was with me. She was also in the same theme. And we both went, hey, wait, we've done this before.
Yeah,
like this feels too comfortable. Yeah, it felt too comfortable. All right. Maybe I'll show it to you guys next week after Halloween. We'll see. That was a test party last Saturday. We'll see what happens this weekend, folks. Alrighty, guys. Please do remember to like, share, and subscribe here at Tarot by Janine on YouTube and also on her Sending Ravens. And check out that last video about the 107 and Alec B decode. So you'll be better for that. And of course, this was Tarot Reading by Janine. And we'll see you again tomorrow night, 9 o'clock Eastern with Tamara. I'm Jean-Philippe Mystic. I love you guys, and we'll see you soon.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.